I think that's one of the really cool things about weightlifting is how it can parallel into your own life. And one of the ways is having those really high highs and those really low lows, which you won't get, let's say, if you're just going to the gym and riding the elliptical for 15 minutes, doing your regular bench press, some curls, then going home. Like, that's a very comfortable route to be. You're going to succeed. You're going to do it.
Every
you
time.
Know what I mean?
You're gonna, that elliptical's not going to fail, and you're not going to fail on it.
Yeah, and your mindset won't be tested by that. You're not going to be tested. So what would you say has trickled over from weightlifting into your life? Like, have you learned any important lessons from training weightlifting specifically, or even strength training in general, that has made you a better person or a worse person? Or
sure, yeah. You know, I don't know if this parallels, but I mean, maybe this just clicked into my head. Maybe you just made me realize this about myself. You know, I had a pretty good job. I had a government job, and I was set up, man. Like, I was good. I done like 7 or 8 interviews. It's probably like 3, but
let's
I
say
did 7 or 8 interviews to get this job, and I got the job, and I had all the retirement benefits and all that stuff. And then I was like, yeah, man, I did it. I succeeded, right? And then I started doing the job, and I hated it.
It was the elliptical.
Yeah, I was on the elliptical, man. I was like, all right, doing the job, doing the job. And then I realized, damn it, this isn't what I want. This isn't who I want to be. I don't want to just be a guy working, you know, for the government, wearing a suit and tie every day. That's just not me.
Yeah.
And so then I quit my job, and then I called my wife after I quit my job, which was a bad idea, and I don't recommend that for anybody.
Yeah. Talk to the wife first.
Do that first. I was out of order. So yeah, I quit my job, and then I opened a gym. I just did it. I found a building, and I put a freaking all the money that I had into getting some equipment, some real basic stuff, and making a deposit on the building. And I opened my doors. I was like, all right, here we go.
Yep.
And so that was, you know, you want to take it to the weightlifting analogy. I mean, you know, I was just swinging my legs, and I was like, all right, I'm swinging my legs.
Yep.
I'm about to grab the bar. Maybe I'll stand up with it, maybe I won't.
That's a chance you have to take, though.
Yeah, and it really was. And then, you know, 7 years later, I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
I'm still running the gym.
An awesome gym, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky that I basically brought that same mentality to my life. That I decided to make a really, really big change. I was doing something safe, something that I knew I could count on, something I knew I could rely on. And then I said, screw it, man. I'm not happy. I want to be happy. And then I just got rid of the safety net, and I jumped in, and, you know, I went for a PR on my snatch.
You PR'd your life.
I PR'd my life.
That's dope. And it's funny, too, because that type of move kind of takes a lot of vulnerability and like putting yourself out there, and that's another aspect of weightlifting that's been really special and important to me is just the competition of it. Like my first meet I did maybe 2 months into starting training. I'd never done a full clean. I'd never done a full snatch from the ground. I'd only done like a hang snatch and then like power cleaned. So
what
I
was
went
the
to the MIA Classic.
So you did a giant meet.
Yeah, so the guy warming up across from me, this guy Justin Thacker, who owns the Lab Gym, I think they're in St. Louis, and he's like you look at him and you're like, that guy's a weightlifter, like shaved head, like Adidas tracksuit, like he's ready to go, warming up across from me. The guy next to me was also like a similar level, and then the guy next to me was from like Cuba or something like that, and he was, I feel like he was going to the Pan Ams or something like that. Of course. So I was sitting there, and it was just a terrifying experience. Like they were all talking about their opening numbers, like I'm gonna hit, probably try and hit 120 for my opener, like just ease into it. And my opener was like 65 kilograms or something like
Right.
that. When it was my turn to go on stage, I put my singlet on and then start walking out on stage. I have like 30 seconds to get out there.
Yeah.
And the guy next to me, he's like, put that on backwards there, bro. And I look down, like my nipples are exposed. I'm wearing my singlet backwards, so I was just like, oh my God. I had to like strip down, throw back on, run out on stage. But I hit my first snatch, so it was all good. I think I ended up going like 3 for 6 or 4 for 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
I hit PRs on both my lifts.
There you go.
And yeah, it was a really uncomfortable, terrible, awful experience.
Yeah.
But as soon as I was done, the first thing I said to my friend who was there coaching me that day, I was like, I want to do that again.
Yeah.
Right away. You want to do it again.
Yeah, man.
So for you, how, like you still compete.
Yeah.
How does competition kind of drive you? Like, why do you still compete? Or why would you even suggest to someone to compete who's just starting off? Because for you, it's probably very different than it was for me that first time.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Anytime you kind of expose yourself to potential failure in front of a large group of people that you don't know,
Wearing spandex.
Yeah, wearing a freaking singlet. I mean, you're literally like you're all out there, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm gonna walk out here in the goofiest outfit I've ever worn, and nobody's talking. You guys are all gonna be looking at me, and I'm gonna try to do this thing that I have a very high probability of failing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to do it in front of all you guys. So
That's a really interesting way to put it.
yeah, I mean
I don't want to do that.
that's essentially what it is.
And we pay money too.
But we pay a lot of money, and you travel far,
Yep.
and you stress out, and you lose weight if you need to, and it's like there's so many elements going into, and if you think about it, I mean, how much time you're actually spending on the platform at a weightlifting meet?
Under 30 seconds, probably.
Under 30 seconds times 6, 3 minutes. So
Probably less than that.
So less than 3 minutes, all this preparation, months of preparation for 3 minutes of a chance, 3 minutes of a chance to succeed. And I think that right there is a high level of probability. Like you might fail, but there's a chance. There's a chance that you might PR your snatch in a setting like that, and that feels incredible. That feels, I don't know what else to describe it to, but I mean, I don't know what to describe it to. It's just, I did this thing that I practice and I practice and I practice, and I did it, and I did it in front of all you guys, and you saw me do it.
You sons of bitches.
You saw me do it. You know I did it. And it feels great.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't feel great if you knew you were going to do it. Right? It wouldn't feel as gratifying or satisfying if you knew when you went out
You rode
there.
an elliptical for 15 minutes.
Right. If you put an elliptical out on the platform, like, all right, here I am, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know you're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
But if you put a barbell out there and it's got 101% of your PR on that bar, right? It's out there.
One
That's
shot.
more than you've ever done, and there it is, sitting there, like, oh man, that's some pressure.
Yeah.
And I feel like people who eventually become successful in life expose themselves to pressure, and they do it on purpose. They put themselves in situations that are uncomfortable to basically test themselves. Like, are you going to succeed? Are you going to take this situation and make the most of it, or are you going to just fail? You're just going to say, all right, I missed, and I tried it, and then I'm never going to do it again.
Even that is succeeding.
Yeah.
If you do it again.
If you do it again, right? Even if you do it and you decide, man, I didn't enjoy that experience. You did it. You did it.
Still did it.
But there's people who literally they go through their whole lives and they find the safest route, and they stay there.
Or they'll wait till they're really good at something
Yeah.
to do it in front of people.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I have slowly gotten better at is just putting myself out there, even when I know I'm not great at something. Like, for example, Ryan's behind the camera right now, and he does jujitsu, and he just, one day he was like, hey, I'm doing this tournament, you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, sure, when is it? He's like, tomorrow. He's like, oh, you can come train with us tonight. And I'd never done that ever before. Like, I wrestled with my brothers and kicked their asses.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sure you did. Yeah.
My sister kicked my ass. But so I just went to one lesson the night before, and then I went and did it, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
It was in front of a lot of people. I got my ass kicked.
Right.
But afterwards, it was like, it's a very strange feeling. Like, it's hard to describe. You just want to do it more.
Sure.
Because you gain power essentially from failing at something.
Yeah.
Which is a very strange concept for people to understand.
Oh yeah, I honestly feel like it depends on the person. It depends on who you are, or who you want to be. I mean,
so weightlifting's not for everyone, basically, is what you're saying.
No,
Yeah.
it's definitely not. I mean, strength training in general isn't for everyone. I mean, there's people who just have the thought of oh, I'm going to lift weights. Oh gosh, that's hard. I could just go to a buffet, or I could just play Xbox, or I could just do this. Those are easy things. So maybe weightlifting's not for them, or maybe it is for them, and they've never even
Push themselves.
They've never even given themselves a chance to find out that weightlifting's for them. There's guys right now. There's guys and girls right now that are walking around that have the potential to be world champions in something that they've never done. Right? There's like a karate master man who has the potential to be a world champion karate man. Right? I don't know. Is that right?
Karate man, yeah. That's what it is.
Right. There's somebody who's walking around with that potential who's never done karate.
Yeah.
Right? There's somebody who's walking around who has a mind to be the best chess player ever that's never done chess. This is speculation. I'm assuming.
I'm going with it though.
Yes. Right? But seriously, I feel like there's all this potential, this untapped potential in people. And I'm so lucky that I found the thing that I'm pretty good at.
Yeah.
And that I enjoy, that I love. Like, how lucky am I that not only do I enjoy doing it, I'm kind of good at it, and I get to do it every day. I get to teach other people how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty lucky. So, yeah, man, I just realized how great my life was right then.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have a pretty good life. And that's the funny thing, like, even if you're not, let's say, like a teacher or a coach, even just doing that thing and showing the dedication to it and putting in the hard work and spending the time in it, that in and of itself is going to teach other people what it takes. So you're lucky enough to be in that position, and I am as well, of being able to coach people.
Yeah.
But what's really cool about, I think, being a weightlifter, focusing on a specific strength sport, is just doing it teaches a lot of people.
Yeah.
It'll teach, let's say, your parents about you. It'll show them like how hardworking you are, like I said, how dedicated you are. It'll show your friends that you're ambitious and driven towards something. So it's a really great way, I think, to not only channel your energy and your ambition, but also to like show you have that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know that. They don't know, like you said, the potential that's within them until they spend a year or 5 years or 10 years focusing on a craft and mastering it, or you can't master it obviously, but approaching that level.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
But it's a very interesting sport to pursue. And I think, what would you say to someone, let's say, who's interested in getting into weightlifting, is not really sure if it's for them? What would you tell them about weightlifting that is something that they may not know? Like, what is a special feature that you, let's say, get from weightlifting, or you've learned from weightlifting, that some people aren't aware of that you think?
Sure. So when people think about weightlifting, in general, just the word weightlifting, you're thinking about strong, right? You're thinking, okay, in order to be a weightlifter, you need to be strong. And in order to be a successful weightlifter, yes, you do need to be strong. But you can be a weightlifter and do weightlifting for the sake of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a weightlifter just to lift weights in your garage and get your PRs and feel good about yourself. You don't need to compete.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to go to seminars and do all. You don't need to be active in the weightlifting community. You can do weightlifting just for yourself. And so I feel like because of the social media age that we live in, everything just seems so like when you do this, then you're here.
You have to do this, and you have to do
You
that.
have to do this, you have to do this, right? In order to do, you're in a CrossFit gym, right? So in order to do a CrossFit gym, you have to go to a CrossFit gym, and then you have to write your stuff on a board, and you have to do all this stuff. And no, you can literally, if you're an introvert, and that's fine, you can be in your garage, you can put on whatever music you want to listen to, and you can lift weights. And you can put heavy weights on there, or you could put light weights on there. You could make it whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome. I mean, what a great thing. Like, lifting weights doesn't mean that you have to be strong, right? You don't have to be strong to lift weights.
To be a weightlifter.
To be a weightlifter, exactly. I'm saying lift weights. Yeah. To be a weightlifter, you don't have to be strong. You can just enjoy being able to get into those positions, right? It's kind of like barbell yoga almost, right? So you got to be able to get into a position with between 45 or 300 pounds over your head. That type of challenge for yourself, just that itself, just being able to do the sport. Whether you're successful with how much weight you lift, what you would consider success, or what anybody else would consider success, that doesn't really matter. The thing that matters most is, are you enjoying yourself? Are you taking this activity and turning it into something that makes you feel positive, makes you feel good about yourself? So if you feel like you could get that from it, then go for it. If you feel like you could do weightlifting, even though you're not strong, you don't think you're strong, if you feel like you could get some type of internal success from it, then it's for you.
Wow, yeah, that's I'd never thought of it that way. That like completely changed my mindset on weightlifting right there. So I hope people watch to the very end. But
yeah,
that's really interesting, because there's so many, especially like you said with social media, there's so many paradigms around each sport like that, that if you're interested in something, you feel like you have to do all the things associated with it to get the benefit from it. But really, the benefit is whatever you get out of it, no matter how you're doing it.
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that idea a lot.
Oh, great, thanks.
That's badass. So I feel like we could talk a lot longer, but
me too.
Yeah, I think we'll cut it off there.
Okay.
It was really, really enjoyable.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jim.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And so if you guys are interested in weightlifting, I hope this was really beneficial for you guys, and I hope that you definitely start off on that journey and you do it in the right way, kind of following the same guidelines Jim has outlined a little bit in terms of finding a coach, finding a great program, and just sticking to it. And also what he said at the very end was just finding some kind of positive, good feeling about yourself through weightlifting, and that's really what it's all about. So thanks very much. Until next time.